Ta-da!
Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming in Lund, Sweden. For today's video, we are going to be playing Day 7 of Battle for the Borderlands. Our fight today will be between the Saurus Warriors and the Empire Archers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the warbands and take a look at the board. For our first warband, we have the Saurus Warriors, led by our leader here. His name is Qalnuc, and he has the Blade of Prescient Perfection, which gives him the Always Strikes First special rule. Two other dogs of war along with them. This first one has the Worn Boots of Unseemly Haste, which gives him the Swift Stride special rule. The second one has the Scaled Boots of Delayed Alacrity, which gains the Random Movement 2d6 special rule. So we're going to have some fast running dogs of war here. They're joined over here by 5 additional Saurus Warriors. We have Scaly Skin and Shield for 4+ save. So there you go, 100 points of Saurus Warriors. For our second warband now, we have the Empire Archers, led here by our marksman leader, Landolf Lehr. And he has handcrafted ammo, which gives him no penalty for shooting at long range. In addition to that, we took some pretty simple basic kit. We took the Regimental Standard, reroll Panic tests, and the Regimental Musician, reroll Failed Route tests. In addition to them, we are joined by 2 more Empire Archers, and over here, 9 additional Empire Spearmen. Spearmen have light armor and shield for 5+ save. So there you go, 100 points of the Empire Archers. Here's the board we are playing on today, a 4x4 desert-looking scene. We have something like an old riverbed that is sort of meandering its way through the center there, with a couple areas of trees and some patches of vegetation here and there. Fairly open though on the edges, but kind of tight in the middle. It'll be interesting to see how the archers work their way through there. Well, let's go ahead and roll for the deployment and see who begins the game. Saurus Warriors with the blue and the Empire with the yellow. Here we go. This is for side and deployment. And it will be the Lizardmen. Here's how things look now after deployment. The Lizardmen Saurus Warriors, knowing that they are not likely going to be starting, took some cover behind this rock. Over here we have our leader, and over here waiting and hiding we have our 2 dogs of war who have that extra speed. And on the other side we have the Empire laid out ready to go. We've got our spearmen right there, going to be making a run to the forest. And we've got our banner there, our leader, and our 2 other archers. Let's go ahead and roll to see who begins. Empire deploying second, so they will begin or decide who can start on a 1 to 5. So the Empire gets to choose, and they will take the first turn. So let's begin with Empire turn 1. Okay, we've got no charges to declare, so let's go ahead and move this whole line of spearmen up into the forest. We'll march them their 8-inch movement. And there's their final position right there. And we need to roll for the forest to see what it is. It is a 4, which will be a fungus forest, which means that any units partially within this forest are subject to stupidity. So we'll have to take a stupidity test when they are moving out of it. Next, let's go ahead and march all of these guys up. I don't think it's even worthwhile to leave these behind because they're going to be long range and hard cover. So let's just go ahead and march all of these guys up. And they're their final positions after an 8-inch march. No shooting now because we marched, but we also don't really have any good targets. So that will be the end of the Empire turn 1. Let's go on to Saurus Warriors. So we also have no charges to declare, and let's go ahead and do some final movement. Let's try to funnel these guys into here, get some cover behind these rocks, without getting in that gap there so we can be hit by any Empire Archers. Let's go ahead and move our guys in there, marching them their 8-inch march. So there we have it. The Saurus Warriors are filling up that riverbed. Let's go ahead and make a normal movement with this guy. Let's face him this direction and do his 2d6 for his random movement with these scaled boots. Here we go. 3 inches. And that will unfortunately bring him right there. He might be in line of sight of those archers. We'll have to see. Well, that's the end of this turn for the Saurus Warriors. Let's run over here and go to game turn 2, Empire. Charges to declare. We are definitely going to make some charges here onto that Saurus Warrior. We need to get down and see, though, how many of these actually have him in their line of sight. When we get down here and look now, we see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys will have him in their line of sight. So we can do charging with 5 guys, but we will have to test for stupidity. And that Saurus Warrior will hold. Let's do another set of charges. The other 5 guys, let's have them charge over on this Saurus Warrior, and he will also hold. So let's go ahead and I'll roll off camera for stupidity for all 10 of these guys. And if they have a 7 on a 2d6 for the leadership, but they are within 12 inches of their banner, so they have a 7 with a reroll. If they fail, they will stumble forward d6. If they pass, they can go ahead and make the charge. Hello! Sorry to interrupt your battle report, but I wanted to let you know that at this point in the bat rep we have had some audio issues. So what we're going to do from here on out is I will be narrating over the video. So if you see me sort of moving my hands around and the words, the narration doesn't quite match that, you'll know that is why. We had to go in later and add the audio to the video. So we apologize for that, and I hope that the battle rep will still be enjoyable for you. Please enjoy the rest of your match. Alright, here I am taking over with some narration now, trying to narrate this out. As you see here, we've got 2 guys who failed their stupidity test from the fungal forest. They stumbled forward. For the rest of these guys now, we can go ahead and roll off their charges. We're going to try and send them up into the Saurus Warriors. First guy is going to fail, stumble ahead 4 inches. Second guy, he's also going to fail, stumble ahead 5 inches. These are pretty long charges, so it's going to be difficult. Next guy, same thing. He also is going to fail with a 5. Let's go ahead and do the next guy. It looks like he is going to be successful, so we can bring him up in this direction. And there he is, connecting into base contact. Let's take these guys here, all 4 of these guys, and send them up into the woods and try to come into combat with the Saurus Warrior up ahead of us. First one, successful. Second one, successful. Third one, successful. And our final one, no. So that one will stumble ahead 6 inches. So we'll put him there. And if we go ahead and look up here in the forest, we can see how we have come into base contact now with 3 guys into that Saurus Warrior there. All right, let's go over here and do some remaining moves. We want to move these archers. You see these 2 archers here on the right. We're going to have to march them, I think, to get them over here on this stone and to bring them into shooting range. So here we go. Put them up on this stone. They'll have a good line of sight here now. They march, so they can't shoot, however. Let's take our leader here and see if we can move him up as well. Let's try to move him, though, and not actually march him, because we want to be able to get some shots off. So maybe, let's see, perhaps we can just move him his regular 4-inch move right up in this direction between these rocks, or perhaps more. No, let's actually, I think we'll take him up right in the center. Or let's actually just leave him where he is. Let's check and see if he has a line of sight. Yes! He does indeed have a line of sight, so we don't need to move him. He's got a line of sight right onto that Saurus Warrior, who is the leader of the Saurus Warriors. So we will just leave him right there. No need to move him. All right, let's go ahead and shoot. No, missing on a 1. The other guys, they cannot shoot. So let's move over here to some combats. We have this combat here, and we have the second combat. Starting here with our spearmen hitting on a 6. And not wounding on a 4, we need a 5 there. Coming back with 2 attacks. No. Over on this combat here, we've got 3 spearmen now. And we've got 1 of them who's hitting on a 4. And not a wound. Not strong enough for that toughness. Coming back now, let's direct our attacks onto that musician. We've got 1 hit, and we've got 1 wound. And we've got a 5+ save. We got it with a 5. So, let's go ahead now and declare some charges for our Saurus Warriors into their turn. So let's send these 2 guys crashing up here into the back of this combat. And if we look down here, we'll try to send a couple of these guys
up into that combat. We can just clip the edge there of that spearman, and we'll do some remaining moves with the rest of these guys. All right, let's go ahead and roll this out. No problem, got it in with a 10. So let's bring him sliding up like this and put him into the back of the musician. Second guy here, let's roll this one out. And that is 5 inches. He will not make it in, so he's going to stumble ahead 4 inches. And we'll just put him right there. And let's roll off these guys now to try and make it into that other combat. First one, no, failing, 2 inches ahead. Second one, no, failing 3 inches ahead. So there are their final positions. All right, let's go ahead and move these other 2 guys. We'll bring them up here onto this stone so they can get into combat next round. All right, let's roll for this combat here. Spearman starting out, hitting on a 5, and wounding on a 5. Do we have a save? No, Scaly Skin is not good enough here, so we are going to go down. This guy needs to take a panic test, and he'll be taking it, of course, with his cold-blooded, and we throw away the highest, he gets a 3. All right, let's do some combat over here now. We have got 3 of our spearmen, and they'll be attacking that Saurus Warrior there. Missing all of those guys, no wounds. Coming back, and nothing there. Now this guy attacking in here, and nothing there as well. All right, well with that, we come to the end of that turn. Let's flip it over to game turn 3. All right, let's go ahead and declare a bunch of charges now. We have got a ton of these Empire's spearmen who need to get into combat. This guy's the furthest up, but we're gonna send these guys down into this Saurus Warrior below. Let's get a look at him right here. We'll charge him and he will hold. And if we go back up here, we're gonna send all of these guys over into this combat against that Saurus Warrior. Of course, we will need to be taking stupidity tests first for those guys in the fungal forest before we do that. This guy and the other guy as well. So let's go ahead and roll this out. Stupidity test on their leadership. First guy fails, he's gonna stumble ahead 4 inches. The next guy, he has no problem, so he will be able to charge out of there. So let's go ahead and roll out some of these charges now onto this Saurus Warrior in the bottom. And we got a 5, no problem. He'll come crashing forward. We'll put him here in the middle. Actually, we should probably slide him over so we have room for the other guy. He'll come in. We'll just throw this guy around on the edge. They could just switch places there. And let's roll for our last guy. 10 inches, he is also in. So there we go, we got a full combat there. Next, let's go ahead and take these guys and roll for them onto this. Double ones, no, we're gonna go ahead 1 inch. Take the next guy here. 4, no, he's gonna fail ahead 2 inches. Next one there with a 7. And the last guy with a 5. So there we go, that's how that one will look. All right, let's run over here and take some shots. We're gonna be shooting up at these Saurus Warriors on the rock. First guy here, and 2, he misses on a 2. Next guy, first guy attacking the closest one here, and he's missing on a 3. The last guy hitting on a 4, 5, he got it. And no wound on a 1. So let's run over here now. We've got some combats. Let's take this combat here first, coming in with 3 attacks. And we've got 2 hits. And we have got no wounds. Coming back now, wounding with a 6. Hitting with a 6, excuse me, no wounding on the 2. And let's take this combat here. We've got these 2 guys. Let's send them into that first Saurus Warrior, both of them missing. Send the musician backwards, and he is also going to be missing. Let's send that Saurus Warrior into the musician. We've got an attack, hitting on a 6, yes. And no wound there. 5 here and a 3, so nothing there. 5 and 3, actually the 3 was successful, so that will be enough to kill him. He could not make his armor save. So we'll just try to position him back in here after that successful combat. And you can see here we've got the Blade of Prescient Perfection. So we'll go ahead and roll these off again. Successful hits and no saves there. So this guy as well. Let's see if he is going to stick around. No, his leadership fails, so he's going to take off a total of 3 inches. So that'll bring him up on there. Let's pursue with this first guy. He will go 5 inches, so he will actually successfully run him down after that failed combat. And for the second guy, let's go ahead and see if we can just restrain and reform him. Here we go, cold-blooded, take away our highest on a 6, so no problem. Let's just turn him around and face him into those coming Empire Spearmen. All right, so there we go. That will bring us to the end of the combat phase. Let's go ahead now and go into the Saurus Warriors. We're going to have them declare some charges. These 2 guys, they cannot fail, so we will bring them right in there. Next, let's have this guy come in, and he also cannot fail, our leader, so he has a successful charge. That guy also cannot fail. We'll bring him in. We'll charge with these guys, 2 here on that archer, and he's going to hold. Let's have this other guy actually run for that other archer there. So let's go ahead and do a stand and shoot. And 1 shot, hitting on a 4 and missing. Second guy over here, hitting on a 5 and wounding on a 4. So let's roll this off, and he makes it in. Roll the second one off. He makes it in with an 8, so he wasn't actually able to connect with the wound with his shot there, stand and shoot. So there we go, successful charges. Let's go ahead and take some combats now. We've got this combat here. We're gonna try to beat him and overrun. There's the miss for the archer coming back, and that's also a miss for the Saurus Warriors, so no combat there. Let's go here. We've got a miss, and we've got a miss as well for that combat. Coming over here now, starting with 3 of the Empire. We've got 1 hit and not wounding on a 4. We need a 5 to wound there. Coming back now with massive number of attacks, and we are going to be hitting with 2. And pretty strong, wounding with a 5. So we have got 1 guy who has a 5+ save, but he does not get it. So let's go ahead now and see if we can roll for combat resolution. The Empire has lost by 1. So they are going to be rolling on their leadership of a 7, and they made it with a 5. Next on this combat here, we've got the Blade of Pressing Perfection, and we will be attacking here on this guy. 3 attacks, missing all 3. Coming back, and he is also missing. Next combat, Empire is connecting, and he does not wound. Coming back, yes, that is a hit, and that is a fail as well. So no successful combats there except for that first one. Let's flip us over to game turn 4. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and declare some charges. These guys cannot fail. Saurus Warrior is already in combat, so he has to hold. We'll bring those 2 guys in. And let's bring this guy charging into that Saurus Warrior. We'll take our banner and send him down as well, charging into that Saurus Warrior. So that means we have a whole bunch of combats here to go ahead and roll out. Let's start over here with this one. We've got 2 of them attacking, and they are both missing. Coming back now with a massive number of attacks. We're hitting with 3, wounding now, and we have 2 successful wounds. So 5+ save for our armor and our shield, so 1 of them saves, the other one is gone. They are losing combat, but they make it with a 6. This one right here, we've got a hit and no wound on the Empire. Coming back now, 2 misses. Up here for this combat, let's go ahead and take 2 attacks from the Empire, 1 hitting and 1 wounding. We've got scaly skin and we've got a shield, but no, he's going to fail, so they are going to win that combat. We'll have them reform and turn this direction. They can join that combat over there and try and hold back those Saurus Warriors. Let's run down here to that combat. First Empire guy hitting on a 4, wounding on a 6. Once again, scaly skin and shield, but no, he fails that as well. Empire's doing pretty well here. Over to this combat now. We've got our leader here, and he is going to be receiving 4 attacks from the Empire. And all of them miss. Unbelievable. So coming back now. And let's go ahead and miss that as well. So that was a pretty uneventful combat there. Okay, let's brings us to the end of that turn now. Let's run over to this combat for the Saurus Warriors. The Empire misses. Saurus Warriors coming back, and we've got 3 hits and 2 wounds, so that guy is going to go down there. Well, of course, we get to try and save that, but no, he only saves 2, so he will die with that combat, and we have these guys now. We can try to send them into the next combat. Over here, the Empire attacking and hitting on a 6, wounding on a 6. Saurus Warrior, no, scaly skin and shield, not good enough, so he will also go down. And I don't think we are within range, so no one has to take panic tests. Next combat over here. We'll go ahead and roll this out. We have got 1 hit from the Empire. And wounding now, not on a 2. Coming back now with our Saurus Warrior leader. He is not hitting on a 2. And we are going to conclude the combat there. And if we look over here now, we have got quite a few of the Empire that have been killed compared to 4 of the Saurus Warriors. So it looks like eventually we will need to be taking a break test in order to see if they are going to stay or flee. Game turn 5. Okay, into game turn 5 now. Let's go ahead and take some shots with these archers now that they are freed up from their combat. First guy up here, that will be a miss. Second guy, and also a miss. Let's run over here into this combat, and we have got 4 attacks, and we're connecting with 1. But that is no wound. We've got those super strong Saurus Warriors coming back now. 3 attacks, and we are connecting with 1, and we are wounding 1 of them. So let's go ahead and roll off to see if we get a save. No save for that spearman. Let's remove him then. So now the Empire has lost that combat by 1, dropping their leadership down to no, a 7 will not be enough. So they are going to take off an 8 for the reroll. They are not going to make it, so we are going to have to flee all of the Empire, and let's send them off in their directions directly away from the Saurus Warrior. 8 inches, 9 inches, and finally the banner is going to go a total of 2 inches. Well, let's have him pursue the banner. 6 inches, no problem. He's going to run him down. We'll remove the banner from the field. That is the end of that combat. That was a fortuitous turn for the Saurus Warriors there. You see the other guys are up in the woods, fleeing. Pretty good combat there. But now it is Saurus Warriors' turn. We need to roll for the route test. They don't get the help of Cold-Blooded. So here we go. We need to roll at least an 8. Can we get it? Yes, we got it with an 8, so they will stay in the battle. Let's go ahead and do charges to declare. We'll send this guy into him, and he will hold. These guys over here, let's send them into each of those archers. First guy will do a stand and shoot, and he misses. Second guy, let's send him up as well. Let's see if we can roll these guys off. That guy in, no problem. Second guy, he is also in. And the third guy, no, he's gonna fail ahead 2 inches. So there's our leader as well. He had no problem getting in. So this is going to be our combat here for the Saurus Warriors. And let's go ahead and have our archer start off. And that is a miss. Coming back now with 2 Saurus Warriors. And we are going to have 4 misses as well. Next combat. Starting out, the Blade of Prescient Perfection, starting us out with, wow, look at this, 4 hits. And, oh, no wounds, unbelievable. Coming back, and also a miss, so pretty uneventful combat there. That brings us to the end of that turn. Let's turn us over here to game turn 6. And we have to roll now for the Empire to see if they will take a route test. Here we go, rolling for the Empire, and they get it with a 7. So they are gonna be staying in. These are close rolls. Charges to declare. Let's send this guy over into that battle there. combat. And these guys, we need to see if they are still going to flee. And this guy, let's go ahead and take a shot on there in the shooting phase. And there's a hit, and we have a wound. Do we get to wound? No save there, so he is going to go down. Nice shot from our leader there. Over to this combat now. Let's go ahead and roll out first our Blade of Prescience Perfection. And we have one hit there with a 6, and we have a wound as well. Can we make a save? Yes, he makes the save. All right, now we have these guys right here coming back. Well, I'm actually going to roll and see which one of them he hit, and we chose the archer, so he can't make the save on that one. Next over here, we'll have these guys roll off, and he's attacking, and he misses, and no wound. Coming back now, 2 Saurus Warriors attacking, and they're going to be connecting with a 5 on 1 hit and no wound there. So that brings us to the end of that combat, and that will bring us to the end of that turn. We need to go and take a route test here to see if the Saurus Warriors will remain in the game. So here we go. And they get it on a 7 again, so they are still in. Let's run back here to this combat. This is going to be the end of the game here, folks. So starting out with this combat here, our leader with the Prescient Perfection, and he is going to be connecting with a 5. Is he going to wound? No. Coming back here, hitting with a 3. No. Now we got the Saurus Warriors attacking, and we have got 2 attacks, 2 hits, and 1 wound. That guy doesn't have enough armor, so we will remove him from that. And there you go, folks. That brings us now to the end of game turn 6. And you can see here that it looks like the Saurus Warriors have been successful. They were able to kill a lot of the Empire soldiers, while they still have quite a few of their Saurus Warriors left. As far as points go, that means that the Saurus Warriors will have a higher number of victory points remaining on the battlefield. So at the end of game turn 6, we can say that the Saurus Warriors are the successful victors of this battle. Well, let's go ahead and roll off on our chart to see what our leader gets for upgrades. All right, here we go. Let's roll this out. And we've got an 11 plus our kill, Lord of Battle. Your leader gains either +1 attack or +1 wound. Let's go ahead and give him an extra wound. So Qalnuc now has a total of 3 wounds. So we have a really strong leader. And with that victory now, the Saurus Warriors will advance to round 2, in which they will take on the winners of the Goblins and the White Lions. So stay tuned, look for that game soon. That should be pretty exciting. And thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming, where Grey can always play.